seen that flying around. Not trending as yet. I would like to see it trending, but welcome back, Doctor Who. I am very, very happy to see Doctor Who back. Which is basically what we saw last night. After sleeping on it, I've come to the conclusion even Chris Chibnall hates the Chris Chibnall era. Or does he hate the Chris Chibnall era? How much of this is Russell T Davies fingers involved? Because it was a lot better in a lot of ways. Not in terms of plotting. The plotting was absolutely dire. Perhaps the worst plotting I've seen in any Doctor Who story ever. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever and didn't try to make sense. We are going to do a full deep dive review of the episodes. I have, count them, 775 screen grabs. 775 screen grabs. I was going to play some clips, right? But I got a copyright claim already on my instant review from last night when I replayed the Generation. I hope I don't get struck again for putting the Regeneration into the intro. But I think, it's really weird. Chris Chibnall retconned or forgot his own era. I mean, what would you describe it? Like half human on his mother's side and the Teletubby Daleks. Timeless Child is that now, right? The Timeless Child is the Teletubby Daleks. It's really weird. Or half human on his mother's side. It's gone. It's like they didn't address it at all, just like they didn't address Tasman at all. This was just a kind of massive admission of failure. Now, on the way of doing that, they did produce an episode that was not agonizing to watch. And the way they did that was keeping Jodie to an absolute minimum and making it all set around set pieces, which you could do that for a special. I mean, you really could. I mean, like, here's the thing. Doctor Who used to be really well written, like really, really well, tightly written. Yeah, you would have a plot hole here and there. I mean, honestly, Mordred Undead was a big deal because there was a big plot hole that needed to be retconned going back from, like, decades earlier. So that's sort of the level of non-plot wholeness we had before, the Chris Chibnall era. Chris Chibnall era just didn't go down so. So did the BBC order him just to forget about it completely? Maybe. The rumor is, which I'm believing a lot more now, that he was fired. His contract wasn't renewed because he absolutely destroyed the bloody series. The overnights are in, and we're even getting shenanigans with that already. Right, we got the overnight was 3.7. The average view was 3.7. They're saying 4.4 because 4.4 watched David Tennant bloody regenerate. 3.7 is the overnight. I can't believe it's like in real time history is rewritten in front of your bloody eyes, right? So I'm doing this as a live stream as opposed to doing it as a video. I was going to do it as a video, but I just finished finishing all the screen grabs a few hours ago, and I got to go to this wedding tonight. Not a fan of weddings. Never really at. Although I've lucked out, right? I've lucked out. My wife is really nervous about getting COVID because it's a big social function. She's got this huge trip to America, a 3-week trip that she's planned to America. The big fundraising trip for this charity she works for. So we don't have to stay long. But I got to leave in a couple of hours, so I got to get the review in. So I'm going to treat this somewhat like a video rather than a live stream, and not be that interactive. I mean, I'll say hello to everybody in the chat because I guess you're there. I feel guilty not. We're also going to look at some of the reactions from the Jodie fans, the crazy Jodie fans. Now, I had a realization in recent days, like looking back at this whole era. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who was designed to appeal to the same kind of demographic that the movie Bros was designed to appeal to, which is a gay rom-com, right? It was designed to appeal to that demographic, and the movie was it Bros or Bros? I can't remember. The guy Billy Eichler, I think, he had a fit that nobody went to see it. Well, listen, mate. If your demographic is a very small portion of the population, you're gonna get low ratings. That's just the way it's gonna go. Now, the reason you normally put this kind of ideology onto existing popular fan bases is to counteract that, right? You're not going to want. Most people aren't going to want to see. Aren't going to relate that strongly to a gay rom-com, right? Which we're all fine with it existing. Make it. Be happy with it. It's just your target audience isn't that big. So the same thing, I think, somewhat with the Jodie Whittaker she very much leaned into non-traditional gender and sexuality. Very, very much leaned heavily into that. And the fact is, 7%, 96%, 98% of the people have very traditional gender and sexuality. Most people are heterosexual and have a binary approach to gender, right? That's what humanity is. And that's what it's going to be in the future as well. We got this idea in the future there's going to be a stunning and brave future where everybody's fluid, baby. Everybody's fluid and flowing everywhere, right? But it's not true. Human beings are mostly binary and mostly heterosexual. It's just science, right? It's just science. And that nobody should feel marginalized because of that. We're all in minorities in one way or another. But anyway, this era very much appealed to that demographic. So with that demographic comes a high instance of mental ill health, of autism, of asexuality, of genuine general psychological complaints. And I think that's one of the big things driving big forces driving the fans of this era. Now, of course, you have like legitimate fans of the era that who just like Doctor Who. Honestly, I think Don Martin has become the acceptable face of Jodie fandom, right? It's like, yeah, why not? He's a nice guy. He's enjoying it. He's happy. I'm happy. Why not? Everybody has a good time, and he's erudite. Everybody kind of likes him, right? He's just a very likable chap. So, I would like to think that's the norm, right? And I think that's the norm of the fan we're going to interact with. I think this like toxic fandom is really on its way out, right? It's really on its way out because the bottom line is this: Rusty Davies' new Doctor Who is going to be successful. It's just going to. It might not be what you call Doctor Who. I think it's going to be what I call Doctor Who. I called 2005 to 2017 Doctor Who. And it felt like Doctor Who, and I really, really enjoyed it, right? I really enjoyed modern Who. I know a lot of you out there are not fans of modern Doctor Who. I am. I genuinely am. And basically, I enjoyed it right up until the time, this weird ideology became prevalent at the BBC. And I think that ended up with Peter Capaldi being fired, which is why I think he's so incredibly salty about Doctor Who now, which is a real shame, right? Because he was a great actor, probably one of the best actors to play the Doctor, right? With Peter Capaldi, very, very versatile, clever actor, and he was really like hitting his stride. But again, the clear inference from this the special we saw last night, or I saw last night anyway, was that Chris Chibnall doesn't like his era, or whoever was telling him what plot points were allowed in this doesn't like his era. So Timeless Child, completely forgotten. Dr. Ruth, coming up with, we saw Dr. Ruth in it, but she was a hologram. She wasn't a real Dr. Ruth. That mystery is lost. It's forgotten. And I think this. I think that what we're going to see is that this David Tennant Doctor isn't really the Doctor. It's some kind of simulacrum created by probably the toy maker. So I think Rusty Davies is going to write it in such a way that you can say that Jodie Whittaker, her entire run wasn't real, right? Her entire run wasn't the Doctor. It was more like some weird simulacrum made by the toy maker to enable him to do this grand plan with David Tennant's Doctor, right? Or created like an alternate reality of existing. That's why we got this weird Gallifrey destroyed and Timeless Child and all that. And I think he's going to make it that we can put it in a headcanon in its own pocket universe, right? I really believe he doesn't like it. That's my prejudice. That's the rumors I've heard. I really believe he doesn't like it. I was actually in the position to ask somebody, who interacts with Russell Lee Davis regularly, right? And I didn't, because I didn't want to put him in the position. But from the BBC are not happy with the performance of Doc. They were very happy with the content of it, but they were not happy with the performance of Doc. So it's a insanely valuable brand, and you're not allowed to destroy insanely valuable brands. I mean, yeah, say what you will about. I mean, the reason that Lucasfilm has been able to be as disastrous as they are is because Disney's got all the money in the world, and they could just keep. Yeah, if they did put it on Disney Plus, they're making profit, right? It's just the way it is. The financial reality of it is they can make stuff that the audience for a protracted period of time that the audience are simply not interested in, which is what the entirety of the entertainment industry did. Thank God we had Discovery bought out Warner, and the shelving of Batgirl. Was it Batwoman or Batgirl? I think it was Batgirl. The shelving of Batgirl sent a shockwaves through the industry, right? It was like the beginning of Star Trek. Was it Star Trek 6 and Praxis blows up, and those shockwaves are massive. And the times are, and the mass cancelings of everything. The times they are changing. But my other great impression of this episode was the minute David Tennant shows up, it was over. It was like a nightmare, and it was over forever, right? It was just gone. Nobody cares about it anymore. No one is talking about it. The only people who are really talking about it are some reviews that saying that Jodie deserved more and she wasn't well served in this finale. She was very well served. They kept her bloody hidden for most of it, right? She wasn't in most of it. So good for her. By the way, if you didn't see, I was on Null Zone last night for the watch along. I can only pop in every now and again because I had to watch it and pay bloody attention. Right, but thank you, Noel, for having me on. It was great fun being on. I also popped on quickly for his review. It was really, really lovely. Right, it was really genuinely lovely. That was a high spot of my evening. Bit being on that. And honestly, there's a lot in the episode that was kind of cool fan fiction from the 90s, right? Some stuff we saw. He stole from everything. He stole from everywhere. It was like bad Doctor Who karaoke. Fine, here, let me pull up some. Let me pull up at least to pull up the thumbnail for this, and I'll show you what else while I get to the chat. Doink, opening up. There you go. Oh yes, we need to talk about this image. This is another topic of discussion, right? This is the go-to LGBTQ plus representation of love. This imagery, right, that we're seeing right here. This is the go-to. You saw that with Superboy and his boyfriend. This is the go-to LGBT. Now, not gay, right? Gay people are normal, right? Gay people. And by gay, I mean lesbian and bi as well. But yeah. Gay people have normative relations, right? This doesn't look like a normal relation if you're gay, right? But if you're LGBTQ plus, this is exactly what you want, which is somebody to scoop you up and care for you, and so you don't have to worry about anything ever again, right? That's not what love is, right? That's what love is. Two equals joining together, creating a life together. This snuggly wuggly, let me look after you thing. That's not what love is, right? And you can really see very, very clearly from the literature, the comic books. Comic books love this. So, and the thumbnails we got, Yaz going, so wait, so this is the entirety of the Phasming content for the episode? Yes, because it's forgotten about because it was shit and it didn't work. There, that's more than the timeless child got. Yes, it is, because that was shitter, right? That was shitter. But this is, I mean, honestly, this is just an embarrassment. What is forgotten about? The only thing people are talking about is David Tennant now. So let me get to the chat. I'll say hello to everybody. Then we'll get to them. I've got to get moving because I've got to go to the bloody wedding. Then I really want to look at some of the Jodie fan reactions that were not mentally healthy. Right? I think that's fair to say, not mentally healthy. Paul GNSN says, how are you doing, sir? Paul I don't know. I don't know what GNS stands for, but if it stands for anything, Gunson. I'm not sure. Not saying too much, but Jodie aside, there were some good bits in the episode. Yes, agreed. I like the Rasputin scene, right? The entire reason Sasha the One's master, who had a masterly plan, it felt like the master in this episode. I like not the Delgado master, obviously, but felt like the modern master. Felt like the master in this episode had a plan that you can imagine the master doing. But the entire reason he was Rasputin, the entire reason was they can play Boney M's rah rah Rasputin, and that was a great scene. I thought that really, really genuinely worked. I thought that was a lot of fun. I liked the bonkersness of it, and that was the thing. There were lots of moments that were good. Nothing stitched together to make any sense, but I mean, for Yanormi, it doesn't matter because Yanormi doesn't really understand Doctor Who at the best of times, right? They're like, things happen, right? Doctor Who fans understand it makes no sense, right? Because Doctor Who fans are generally speaking a little bit smarter than your average bear. I think it was Chibnall's best effort. Still lots of unresolved messes, though. Yeah, I don't think Rusty Davis. I think he might have had a hand in the edit, right? And I think he had a hand in the edit of Flux as well, because there's a definite improvement, right, of tone, if not quality of the script, right? There's a definite improvement of tone that feels more like modern Doctor Who. And I think the thing was really designed to be watched for like 5 minutes or so, like watched in grabs. And it was just leading up to David Tennant appearing at the end, right? That's what they wanted, right? And that's the only thing people are talking about now. Sunrender says, yes, I'm becoming a man. This is awful. I keep up. That's what Jodie Twitter looks like this morning, right? David Tennant's first word should be "Thank God it's over." Now, I really hope there's some technical whiz out there that can take David Tennant and have Capaldi regenerate into Tennant using this footage, right? If you put a Capaldi TARDIS in the background, I think you could probably do it, right? I think you could probably do it. I hope somebody out there is going to do it. David Tennant was the best thing about the story, yes, and seeing Ace being able to beat the shit out of the Dalek. The scenes between Ace and the Seventh Doctor, and I was going to play the clips, right? I can't because I already got a copyright claim. I was going to play the clips of the Fifth Doctor meeting Tegan, which was, again, the script can't be any good because it was written by Chris Chibnall. We know he can't write. Must have been the performances. Lovely performance. And it was actually Peter Davison's performance that were like really genuinely, very subtly expressed his love for Tegan, which I just thought was lovely, right? I thought it was really, really lovely. And I loved the scene with Sylvester McCoy and Sophie. I like the Graham's Sophie a little bit of frish on there, bit of sexual tension. And Ace goes, "I'm Ace." He's like, "Oh yes, you are, darling." And like they're about the right age. I can see them ending up together now. That's a big finish I would listen to. Ace Graham, adventures. I might actually listen to that, right? I don't, because I like both of them. Well, Paul Towson is here. How you doing, Paul Towson? Anyone else get the impression Rusty Davis had been called in before it was announced to do reshoots? Yes, I definitely get that impression. And Jonathan Cox is here. How you doing, Jonathan Cox? Thank you for joining us. Scott W is here. If they hadn't leaked Tennant and it was a surprise, they might at least had a bit of a happy moment for us at the ending. But no, you see, the thing is, they wanted to leak it so people watched in anticipation, right? In fact, honestly, the BBC being so embarrassed this episode was a mistake. There's a lot they could have used they could have promoted this and they could have got bigger ratings, right? It was no more of an embarrassment. I mean, for God's sake, Strictly, by the way, got about 8 million. Strictly, which was on before this, nothing says the BBC in 2022 more than bloody Strictly Come Dancing. There was no couple dancing on that show that looked like they were fitted into the 98% of like human-shaped humans, right? And they kept having this huge fat woman dancing with this other woman, and it looked like she was going to eat her. It was just weird. Like she was a big girl, right? And she's dancing. She was up atop a flight of steps, right? And when she didn't win, she just comes down. I didn't think she could make it down the bloody steps. I thought she was going to die, right? And then they had to do a commiserate dance. I'm not joking. She nearly killed a dance partner with her boobs, which weren't that impressive. But she was a big lass. What do you want out of me? It was a big lass. And it's just nothing about it. And there was like two blokes, two trans. I don't know. Right? I know. How about having a man and a woman dance together in a fucking competition? How about that crazy thing, right? Am I saying I want to, round up gay people and put them into concentration camps? No. I'm just saying most people are straight. Why don't we kind of lean into that? And that way you get to be somewhat relatable. Not talking about gay erasure. I'm fine with there being gay people in the world. I really am. I'm not even saying that for YouTube. I really genuinely am. Because why? Because I'm not insane. I am a bit insane. But I'm not like, I'm not hatefully insane. I think that's the best way of describing it. I just watched it and it was exhausting. No great triumphant heroic victory feel good about. You're right. Yeah, it was a mess. It was like, let's do over here. You know what it was like? It was like the Monty Python sketch where they're doing election night and they keep running from this thing and they keep running that thing and they keep running that thing. And I do think they intimated that William Hartnell was the first Doctor in this episode as well. I'm like, everything they did, they just completed. But there's Chibnall, isn't it? That's total Chibnall. First season they did. Boring as hell, no monsters, no aliens, and everybody was a good guy. All the aliens were really misunderstood, fluffy bunny ones, right? And then the second season, he completely did a 180, filled it full of Daleks and Cybermen and Master, but filled it with monsters. Did even worse, right? Gallifrey did even worse. Then they did another 180, did Flux, and they're like, just pretend it's Doctor Who. Right, just make them think it's Doctor Who for 5 minutes, so they couldn't really hold Flux together. Look, and 90 minutes of having a nonsensical plot is the best I think you can do. When you're up to 5-6 hours, forget it. You can't do it, right? And that's why the end of Flux fell so horribly. Gareth Morgan is here. How you doing, Gareth Morgan? Thank you for joining in. Everything I've seen in the episode looks like it feels like a final bullet aimed to destroy Doctor Who's past. No, it was pure 100% desperation to get people back to watch Doctor Who again. It was 100% desperation. What is the power of Doctor? Nobody knows. That was nothing to do with the story whatsoever. Not even a link to it. I mean, really, you couldn't write something to just somehow connect it. Father Miller is here. My thoughts: if this was Matt Smith, Amy Pond episode, it would have been perfect. Well, yeah, Jodie would. Well, it wouldn't be because none of the plot points made any sense, right? Like we had Vinda show up. And I watched it again, right? I haven't even seen House of the Dragon yet. I got to go to Sodding Wedding, so I won't be able to watch it tonight. Vinda turns up for no reason. Graham turns up for no reason. But lots of things happen for no reason, right? The opening bit, which we're going to talk about, is a good facsimile of Matt Smith, Doctor Who, right? Scott W. I think did I already say hello to you, Scott W? I can't remember. Robbie Bonham is here. How you doing, Robbie Bonham? Catherine is here. I sort of wish Yas was here. Was there for the regeneration. I wonder if she was still fancying the Doctor. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe she's straight again. Who knows or dares to dream? Phil Bogan is here. How you doing, Phil Bogan? Thank you for joining us. I hope Jodie Whittaker's cosplay is never mentioned again in the future. I hope so too. Right? I hope so too. I mean, the truth is, it might be in about 10 years' time when you have. Look. If Don Martin or anybody like him ends up in production of Doctor Who, it will be right. There's gonna be a desire to rectify the era, right? Somehow. Hopefully, I'll be dead by then. Right, that's what I'm hoping for. Or Doctor Who will be one of the two. Em is here. Thank you for joining us, Em. Mark McCambridge is here. I just joined. Did you start talking about the episode? No, I did not. You're about 5 minutes out. When I finish with the chat, I will get to the episode. Rob Anybody's here. It was okay, but it was great when Jodie went bye-bye. Yes, them hiding Jodie through most of the episode, which they did. She was not in most of this episode, which was a smart move because and whenever she was in it, she was clearly the weakest person on the screen. Like Sasha the One's Master knocked her off the again. The Rasputin, the Ra Rasputin scene, I thought was great. I genuinely liked it, right? And I could see Session 1 really had a good time as well. Carrie Bryant is here. How you doing, Carrie Bryant? Done more bit. My expectation was so low, it could do all it could do was exceed them. Well, you know, I think that's what Chris Chimmel did. Right? Yeah, our expectations were all very low. Cross Godwise is there. How you doing, Cross Godwise? An absolute underscore. I thought it was really weird how they made Dan's date, Diane, completely pointless. It went literally nowhere, which so much of Chris Chimmel Doctor Who went literally nowhere, right? Another example of Chimmel's incompetence. Right. Speaking of Chimmel's incompetence, let's look at this episode, which, you know, this is Chibnall at his most stunningly competent, right? He doesn't get any more competent than this. Let me pull up this, the slides. Share screen. Doink. So again, good effect shot, right? Starts off with a good effect shot. So now the opening sequence is really unconnected. Like most of the things in this story, is completely unconnected from the body of the story. But it's connected by a tiny thread, right? A tiny thread that doesn't really work. But it's there for eye candy. Again, this is trying to generate the feeling of a Matt Smith era Doctor Who, which it does reasonably, up until when Jodie shows up, who isn't very good. So we got this space train in space, go whoosh, right? And on the train, obviously it's led by a stunning and brave woman, security chief. They're being attacked by some assailants, and it's a Cyberman. And again, this was all good. This was exciting. Kudos to Jamie Magnus Stone. I really think that Russell Davies should retain him for the shooty Doctor Who. Who in his like one line I saw, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done, I'm sold, ready for that. But yeah, so Cybermen attack again. All this is very 90s fan fiction, right? This is when we were started imagining Doctor Who on a big screen, right? And that was Virgin New Adventures. That's what this is. Seems like something right out of New Adventures, but again, very much riffing on the Matt Smith ears. I like the Cybermen design, very strong. I've always liked the Cybermen design, but somehow they managed to fight off the Cybermen. Then when they all destroyed in Flux, it doesn't matter, right? There's no connective tissue between one scene to the next, let alone from one episode to the next. So they vanquish all the Cybermen, but then they're the Cyberlords and they start regenerating, okay? How does this happen? It's not explained. It's not explained. All the Cyberlords were destroyed when the death particle. How are they brought back? It's really not explained. And they actually reference that. They go, oh, Mayday, can somebody help us? Can somebody help? And then, whoosh, in comes the Doctor. Hey, keep up. We're stunning and brave. We're stunning and brave and here to help. Oh, look at me. I'm doing my best David Tennant impersonation. If I speak quickly, nobody will notice I don't know what I'm saying. We all know to start it, right? They got their famous faces on. Member berries. Oh, Doctor Who was good. Just don't remember, this one. But Doctor Who's good. You like Doctor Who. Now the Cyberlords look like Cyberlords again, and they've taken control of the space train, and you don't know what they're there for yet. Dan's like, I'm really not up for this. By the way, they write Dan out about 10 minutes in, like without blinking, like sod off, Dan, go away. And there, keep up, let's climb down the ladder. And Yaz is like, oh, I'm going to be all miserable and look like I've swallowed a wasp. And they land on it, and they're fine because they're women, they're stunning and brave. But Dan's like, oh, I'm scared. And he falls down. The ladder's too short, but he makes it because of magnetized boots. Somehow the Doctor didn't kill him again. Although he, oh no, not just yet. He's about to be shot in the face, but barely survived. The Cybermen have regenerated. They're fighting back, and they're electrocuting people instead of shooting them sometimes. And they're on top of the train as well. Dunk, 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 and they're coming to the Doctor. So yeah, we have this is ADHD writer said to Moffat. Yes, exactly. That's who it's written for. By and for, right? So the Doctor, her great plan is to turn off the magnetism on the the train, so they float into space. But I said, oh, the Cybermen will float away, but we'll work out ways. I'll stay tethered. Dan, but I didn't get a screen grab. Dan's face helmet has been shot in. It's like this air's leaking out of it. He's like, what the? This is not good news. Right, he gets on board and looks like I should be dead. Right, I should be dead. So she sends Dan to the top of the train to slow it down. Meanwhile, the Cybermen are looking for some. Where is the cargo? And Jodie's just awful. She's awful whenever she's in it. Dan presses the wrong button because he's a silly man. Silly Willy Manny Panny. Then he presses the right one and it starts to slow the train down. They're looking for the cargo. Oh, we want the cargo. You can't have the cargo. Oh, I'm going to be smug and stupid me. That'll stop you. Oh, no, you outwitted my smugness. And they open up the cargo. And what's inside the cargo? This is a ripple from Firefly. The pilot episode, right? The pilot episode. Just saw my name. Somebody acted me. Incompetence. I'd rather incontinence. Well, this is Chibnall's incontinent writing, right? So inside the thing they were looking for was a stunning and brave little black girl. Now, is this a timeless child? I guess you're supposed to think, is this a timeless child? Could be, who knows? We don't know what's going on, right? Say, you thought you're just a little black girl, but you're stunning and brave. Oh, you're stunning and brave. And the Cyberman's like, come with us. And Chibnall loves teleports. He's like, they teleport away and she loses them. And she uses this. And that, good opening sequence, though. Good 10 minutes in. We have the opening titles. I didn't even notice how bad the opening title music is because it moves so nicely. The power of the Doctor. What is the power of the Doctor? We don't talk about that at all, right? That is never bloody mentioned in the entire thing. Is it regeneration in it? No, we don't know. So again, now we start off. We have we're in Siberia in 1916. Rasputin, the master is being. We don't know it's the master yet. We do because he's in the trailer. Master's being why? So they can play Boney M's rah Rasputin, right? Halfway through. One of the best parts of the show. And they wrote that back. There's no other reason to be in 1916 other than they wanted another location. Now, here's the question. Was there ever a real Rasputin, right? Or was it always just the master, right? Or did the master take over from Rasputin? Although, again, this master, Sacha Dhawan's master, finally acting like a master, like he's hypnotizing people, and he has like vaguely mastery plans, right? You know, it's kind of acting like the master. So I think this is actually very good news for big finishes. I'm the Sacha Dhawan Masters box set, right? This makes it, it depends who writes it, really. But they might actually be listenable. I might give it a punt, right? Because maybe, I don't know. Do we know who's writing those yet? Let me have a quick look now. Big Finish. .com. Yeah, well, that's going on. I'll keep powering through here. So we're in 1960. Meanwhile, in London 2022, Ace is looking at a missing picture, and she's like, "Oh, that picture's missing." And she's like, "When does the picture take down?" Oh yeah, we have to take them down to clean them every now and again. She's a bit weird looking. Is there a bit of a cross-eye going on there? Looks like she's got a bit of a cross-eye thing going on there. They said, "Oh, we take them down, but you took them down and cleaned them just 2 weeks ago." So Ace is investigating with Tegan. Tegan is in, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. It looks pretty, right? And there's all these seismic scientists that have gone missing, and all these paintings that have gone missing. Why they are on this mission together? It turns out they're working for UNIT, but why they're on this mission of the paintings and this seismology, how these two things got put together, we don't know, right? We don't know because Jim doesn't think about these things, right? So they have a bit of a phone chat about their mission. Say, "Oh, we're on a mission." And she says, "Oh, and I got." And she said, "While I'm here, I got a present from the doctor." He's like, "I haven't heard from the doctor in 40 years." Said, "Oh, you're trying to make me feel bad because I haven't heard from the doctor in 30 years, right?" And said, "Yeah, he left me a note that says Russian doll. from the doctor. And it's just a little action figure. Look, your Aunt Vanessa was killed by tissue compression, right? And that's clearly Ashdad, although it's not. When we find out what that is, it's another ripoff of the other Doctor Who, right? So meanwhile, Doctor arrives back in Sheffield or Liverpool or wherever to take Bam. Dan's going on his date, I guess, with Diane. Who knows? And he's like, yeah. He said, I'll be back for you in a few hours. I said, oh, no, don't bother. I think I'm going to be fine. And he said, well, I just nearly died. I think I'm done. I was basically here to replace Graham, and he shows up in about an hour. So, I'll be with him at the last scene, okay? Okay, but I'm done, right? My story's done here. I'm just going to take the piss out of you on tour for the next few years. And that's basically my plan, right? And then Yaz is like, wait a minute. Me and the doctor going to be alone? Whoa! Doctor, do you fancy some sushi? That's not what I'm talking about. Dan's like, fuck me, I survived! I survived! Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. You did, Dan. Take a prize. And he's like, and then he just remembers, oh yeah, my house is shrunk. And that's used to be where his house was, right? His house was over here. My house was shrunk away. So he's homeless, right? He's completely homeless. He's got just kib on my mother's couch. What were you going to be a fucking house? Your house is missing. This is not a small deal, right? The entirety of everybody's wealth is wrapped up. Most people's wealth is wrapped up in their property. Your house is missing, mate. This is not like you lost your car, got stolen. Your fucking house is gone. You're homeless. He's like, yeah, but I'm out of this shit. Bye. And she's like, oh, thank you for leaving me alone with the doctor. No, let's get the bed back in the console room. Bit of scissoring in the TARDIS. But no time for scissoring in the TARDIS because, a Dalek appears. And, hello, I am a rip-off of Rusty the Dalek. I'm quite glad Nick Briggs is getting the work, though. I have information for you to destroy the Daleks. So, why would the Icky Thump? Why would the Dalek want to destroy the Daleks? That makes no sense. Oh, because and she's thinking about scissoring in the TARDIS there quite clearly. Said, no, I am a good Dalek. So this is his logic, right? The Daleks were created to extend the life of the Fowls. The Fowls are all dead, and now we just try and extend the life of Daleks, so we have failed. So therefore, we have no right to life. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. They said it quickly so you wouldn't think about it, right? I have information. The Daleks are going to invade Earth and billions will die. You must stop them. I'll send you coordinates. So you thought, I guess I'm going to meet with you then. But I'm just ripping off Rusty the Dalek. And all of a sudden, some kind of emergency goes off. Right. They found the little girl, right? They found the little girl. Said, here, I don't understand. Why are you surprised you don't understand, Jodie? Why are you surprised by this? How are you surprised by this? Of course you don't bloody understand it. You're Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. You don't understand anything. Right? So the little girl is in 1916, and there's an extra planet next to Earth now, right? So they go to 1916 Petersburg, and the master's doing mastery stuff, right? He walks in, he's hypnotizing the Tsarina, and there's good hypnotism stuff going on. And look, Sash-Dhawan is good in this, right? He works in this. And he hypnotizes the Tsar, said, you should just give me the control of this house, and you should go somewhere else for the summer or the winter, right? And off they go. So and he's been there ever since a new star appeared in the sky. And their son's getting sicker. Don't worry about that. They've got that plot point already. The flat plot point has been forgotten by the time I move to this slide, right? So what is this star? Boom! You zoom to the star, and it's a quarry. It's a gravel pit. The doctor shows up and said, here, you thought, what is this? This looks like cyber technology. And he has looks around and sees, you thought, what's that? Another TARDIS. Not another TARDIS, but this is a strange TARDIS because it says, on the front. It's a police telephone box. Check again. that's not a bad touch. There's a lot of quite good touches in this. They go on the TARDIS and they do the traditional master TARDIS thing of using the Doctor's TARDIS and using red lighting, right? And they got a big spinny kit. So this now we're ripping off what's the Martha finale? Not Doomsday. What's the name of that episode? It was Last of the Time Lords, right? Yeah, Last of the Time Lords. But basically, when the Master turns the TARDIS into a paradox machine, same sort of thing. He's done something funky to his TARDIS, and you thought they've tethered this TARDIS. They use the TARDIS to tether the little girl who's got all this weird energy to the planet, right? What's going on there? And they see the little girl, she's tied up there, floating, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? Why are they tethered to the planet here, Keithop? I don't understand. And Yaz is like, why do I always make this expression? I like, smile, darling, smile. Your career's about to end. So it's not Dr. Ruth's TARDIS. We don't see Dr. Ruth in this in real life at all. And like, well, why is this kid floating? What's going? You've never been introduced to this kid before, right? You have no idea what's going on. And the Doctor says, "Oh, Ekithump, it's got a kind of cloaking device, right? It looks like a little girl because you want to save a little girl, protect them." Right? This is like a form that we're going to make you want to protect it, but really, it's a big glowy, tentacly thing with superpowers that they have been connected to this planet, right? And he's like, "Hey, you thought that's a traditional Chibnall plot device. It's a super powerful alien being super powerful. That they're going to use the superpower of the super powerful alien in superpower." Okay, Ikithump. So they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" Then again, all this is happening quicker than you can imagine. Cyberman beams down and said, "I am a Cyberman, and you are here. I'm not going to kill you. You're here for them. The Master wants you," or something. And then starts firing at them. And then, "We are the Cyber Masters. You'll never stop us. If you thought, run away." And look, really, what about this looks heroic? Like, what about this looks heroic in any bloody way? So they run into the TARDIS as they're being shot at. Run away! Run away! Right then, Kate Lethbridge Stewart now has a magic telephone to Skype them and said, "Oh, we need your help. It's super urgent. It's super duper double urgent." It's not. It's not. It's still the seismic scientists and Peyton's got missed. It's not super urgent. Said, "Oh, we'll come then," right? She forgot about the Dalek. He's going to send them coordinates in a minute, right? And said, "Here we are at unit, and now I've rebuilt unit from Tegan and Ace, right? Old companions of the Doctor, and Tegan's got some issues. She's like, I'm mad the Doctor never came and talked to me again." And Ace is like, "I'm still the best actress on screen right now." You thought, "I think you are." "Hey, you're the Doctor. Oh, stunning and brave." And like, "Oh, I don't like your Doctor anymore. Because you just left me alone." Although she does have a meaty role in this, Tegan, I have to say. And they say, "Who are you?" So, "We were you," right? And she's just kind of miserable. So here's what's going on with all the paintings. They've all been badly photoshopped to look like Session of One, like the Edward Monk's Scream, and all these images. Rasputin has been replaced in all these paintings. And Eki Thump, that's not Rasputin, that's the Master. And it's like, well, what's the Master doing here? And then then again ripping off Wizard's Familiar or Witch's Apprentice, or one of those ones where Unit is trying to find the Master. And Missy shows up on the screen and says, "Hi, I'm now a seismic scientist, and I'm in Vienna giving a lecture. Come and see me." Said, "Oh, we better go see." But the Ace and Tegan, could you stay here and monitor something rather? As she touches them, little sparks come off her. So, "Oh, I'm just staticky," right? And the same thing happens to the way. So, well, what's going on with that cobber? Meanwhile, in Naples, the Master's giving his seismic conference. And you can't really see, but here there's these. There are tissue compressed people. 1 second, doing. sitting in the chair in the audience. That's what's going on with them. Today he thought the master's tissue compressor. Everybody, oh, I'm going to confront your master. You're not going to stop me. Oh, look at me. I'm giving you my hard, surly look. Darling, you're not scary. You're never scared. You were scary for, the future of Doctor Who, obviously. But you're not intimidating. It's like you can see the difference in acting. I'm an actor. You're Karen. Okay, acting, Karening. So then it said, Doctor, you need to go because this is the day when you cease to be, right? And you're like, ooh, yeah. And then all the unit soldiers come in and they capture him. But it doesn't matter. They're now surrounded by highly trained, heavily armed unit soldiers. The Doctor says, yes, get a gun and point it at him. He has like, I've had whip and trade in me. Because you're stunning and brave and the bestest ever, right? And the master's like, you'll never pull the trigger, or you just try me. So now, for some reason, she wants to take him in the TARDIS back to London. Why is she letting him alone, letting him in the TARDIS? That seems like a bad idea. He taunts Yaz a little bit about, the Doctor never really wants you, and gets under his skin. I can't remember. Just then, the Dalek contacts her with coordinates, right? And says, why the Daleks calling the Doctor? Oh, maybe the Doctor's not trustworthy, right? So then, I've watched this 3 times to try and work out what's going on. Vinder appears through a wormhole. I think he was chasing the little girl as well, right? He's also looking for the little girl. And he arrives when he crashes. Oh no, Vivi Vinder. I used to be Captain Jack, but not anymore. And he's like, leaves a message. Said, oh, I'm not sure what to do. Looks around and he sees a TARDIS, right? Meanwhile, and again, I've got a headache by this point, right? I've literally got a headache by this point. There's all these different plates are spinning, right? And he said, oh, your father was an idiot. I always beat him. And he said, Ace and Tegan says, oh, I remember when I killed your Aunt Vanessa. And Ace is like, last time I saw you, a half cat. So the Doctor says, look, your job is to watch the master through the monitor. Yaz is going to come with me while I go and see the Dalek, right? Meanwhile, the Dalek is in a volcano in Bolivia, right? So they turn up there. This nicely shot, nice location work for this as well, I should say. A lot of this, again, most of the Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who has been agonizing to sit through. This hasn't been, right? Because it was mindless and dumb, but it wasn't agonizing to sit through, right? So she arrives and the Dalek says, I have the information to destroy the Daleks in my casing. And why is he all beaten up? We don't really know. We don't really know at all, right? Meanwhile, Yaskos looks around and sees, oh my gosh, an entire Dalek base full of Daleks. Meanwhile, Tegan and Ace monitor the master. But then they notice that the figure has come out of the Doctor's has come out the bag, right? Then the master looks up and starts talking to them through the monitor. I'm pretty sure we've seen that in another episode as well. I can't remember which one. Yeah, it's actually kind of a fun game trying to work out all the different things he's ripped things off from, because there are a lot of things he's ripped things off from, right? And he's like, say, that thing, I sent it to you. And it's a Russian doll. And the great thing about tissue compression is you can also decompress, and suddenly it starts to grow. Can you decompress tissue compression? No. So it grows, and it's Ashdad, right? But it's not Ashdad, the lone Cyberman. He's like, and this, although it doesn't even look like this Cyberman is a Russian doll. So again, this is Doomsday, the thing with all the Daleks in. So this opens up, and it houses lots of Cybermen. How? We don't know. I guess using some Time Lord technology. But again, the thing with Chris Chibnall Doctor Who is you've always got to write reams and reams of your own fan fiction for it to make any sense, right? Ace rushes to a thing in the ground and pulls out a couple of guns, because that's the way. And Ashdad comes out and he said, I know I was killed, but now I'm back. And the thing they're all kept in wasn't isn't there anymore, right? And so Ace grabs the guns and they start fighting back. They gold bullets against the Cybermen. And Ashton's like, we long ago found a defense for gold bullets. And they start attacking, right? So they run away. Well directed. All of this stuff is well directed. The action moves, right? And when Jodie Whittaker is not on screen, it's very, very passable, right? So the action moves quite well. Cybermen come in and they get to the master. They rescue the master. And master let's say, "Oh, I'm so glad I cloned you. You're just like the original." And that's all the explanation you get, right? That's all the explanation you get. Very much like Curse of the Fatal Death was. How did you do that, Doctor? I'll explain later. So the Doctor's downloading the information to destroy all the Daleks from his casing, but the other Daleks show up, right? And they say, we just let him here to lure you in, and they shoot him to open up the casing, and then they shoot the mutant inside, right? And again, now he's ripping off himself. He thought, oh, when I turned Jodie Whittaker into a weeping angel, even better, I could put her in a Dalek. And this was designed to be on posters, designed to be on Doctor Who magazine covers. And for some reason, and this would have been good on a Doctor Who magazine fucking cover, right? This actually would have generated excitement and interest. But God, I mean, other than not being able to write, he also can't sell anything. So they entomb her in a Dalek, and Yaz rashes into the TARDIS, and she's like, "Oh, I know how to fly the TARDIS. Oh, I can work it out. Help me, TARDIS, help me." And she doesn't do, and she does actually manage to fly it, right? So now we get to the point where it's in St. Petersburg, 1916. Why he's Rasputin. We get the Master Doctor face-off. And he's like, "Oh, I should call this the Master's Dalek Plan," which I thought was a very good line. There are a bunch of good lines in this, right? And he gloats, and he basically says, "Look, my plan is I'm going to steal your body. I'm going to force regenerate you into me, right?" I said, "But you don't have the power." I said, "Oh, I do. That's what that little girl was for, and that moon thing. And I've stolen everything from Gallifrey when I destroyed it, right? There's I'm going to make you be me, right?" And then he starts the the Rasputin dance, which I thought was really good. I like the Rasputin guys, la ra Rasputin, and it was again ripping off from the End of the World when you had Toxic, right? But it look, when you occasionally when you rip off the right people, you actually hit something that works, right? Yep, one second, it's cooling. Somebody, it looks like some cold call from America trying to convince me to buy linoleum, probably. Or it's always they always want to sell me an alarm system, right? So now Vinder doesn't know what to do, and he's got this. If you remember, I didn't remember. He was given this phone by the Doctor to contact the Doctor. So he tries that at the same time. Rasputin's going on, rah, rah, and he's doing the Russian dancing. It's cool. Oh, that's cool. So Vinder calls to the TARDIS. And somehow, and then the Master calls to Yaz in the TARDIS, saying, "Oh, now I'm going to kill the Doctor." Now we're ripping off Tennant's finale when he was in the booth. He should not 4 times, and it's like, now I'm going to force regenerate you into me, too. And he uses all the power, and again, exactly ripping off Tennant, right? Ripping off Tennant's finale. I was like, icky thump, and he regenerates into the she regenerates in the Master, leaving the Master's body like an empty husk, I think, right? So now again, I can see the Master doing this, right? I can see the Master being bonkers and doing this, like say, now I'm going to be the Master, be the Doctor. And he's like, so he takes Yaz and says, "Look, you can be my companion now. I'm not fun like the Doctor, but I'm my own fun." Right, and if you don't come with me, I'm going to kill you. So okay, so he comes and they go with him and for his weird the Master's weird Dalek plan. Kate Lethbridge gives parachutes to Ace and Tegan so they can parachute off. Ace has stored her Ace jacket and she's got a new baseball bat that can fight Daleks. Why? Doesn't make sense. Don't try to understand it. It's not supposed to make sense. It's just member bearers. but it's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun. And again, all this stuff would have been great in pre-publicity, having Session 1 in the Doctor's costume, right? All that stuff would have been actually quite exciting and generated interest. They shouldn't have been so ashamed of this, right? They really should. I mean, I understand Jodie Whittaker's awful. And this is why she's not in it now, right? She is not in most of this bloody episode. Like when you factor in Ace, when you factor in Tegan, when you factor in Session 1, when you factor in the Session 1 Doctor, right? And he's got this regeneration keeps flying out around him. He's like, fine, I'm gonna destroy the Doctor's reputation, right? That's his plan. So they get to the roof. Ace gets the roof, and Tegan's like, "Oh, I can't jump. I'm too scared. I'm gonna go and help Kate." He said, "No, you got to come with me." But no, she closes the blast doors. Close the blast doors. Close the blast doors. Meanwhile, the Master's taking the Doctor's TARDIS to this warring planets, and again, this should have been a fucking Doctor Who magazine cover. This is a great idea. Having him in an amalgam of amalgam of the Doctor's clothes. Now I can't play far around. Whiz through way too many. There you go. So it's in McCoy's jumper. It's got Tom Baker's scarf. I'm not sure whose jacket is that. Jodie's jacket. And there's these two warring planets, right? So this like little robot comes up and he talks and says, "Hi, I'm the Doctor, and I made all that happen." I was wearing Tennant's tie, I think, as well. I made your peoples be at war, right? I made all this misery. Again, he wants to tarnish the Doctor's reputation. Right then, Yaz kicks him out the TARDIS and is able to take off, right? And so he's there. He's left with the recorder, second Doctor recorder, and he plays. There's a great little segment on Type 40 podcast on the Spacebook, I should say, where they do This Week in Doctor Who. And they have a recorder music of that do 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 do, and it was really kind of nice, right? It says, "You'll be back, right? You'll be back." Meanwhile, in an ethereal other world, and now we're getting into deep Virgin New Adventures ripoff territory now, right? This is 90s science fiction. She wakes up, she's in a dark coat, so she's an ethereal self, and we meet the first Doctor, right? And she's like, and it's very heavily intimated he's the first Doctor, right? These are where are my notes. They're called guardians or something. I've got to find it in my notes. Let me zoom up. Where is it? They're called Guardians of the Edge, right? So this is almost identical from a Paul Cornell novel. Time Wearing. His Time Wearing X's. I can't remember which one it was, but it is inside the Doctor's psyche. You have these former versions of the Doctor to guide them through, guide their personalities through regeneration. And this was great when it was the Paul Cornell novel, right? And he keeps changing into different Doctors. Basically, they got everything they could who was still alive they could get, right? They had David Bradley, clearly Tennant, and Matt Smith, and Capaldi said no. Tom Baker said no. Colin Baker said, "Oh, I'll do it." And they're wearing these. I like the Gallifreyan robes. All this works, right? All this works. Paul McGann's there, and they ask him, "Why are you not wearing the robes?" And like, I don't have to. So Sylvester McCoy's in this. This is for me, it's nostalgic because it feels like the 90s Doctor Who that never happened. But all these rumors were proved to be true, right? And so basically saying, once you go over that edge, you can't come back. And they said, but you got to go back. You got to go back because you got to stop the Master taking our body. And he said, but we're going to need help from outside. He said, oh, that's why you're here, to inspire me. And they all vanished, right? They all vanished. Lots of green screen. At that time, a interactive holographic version of the Doctor shows up. This interactive holographic version, if you interacts with the people and it reads their emotional state, you can feel that Yaz is a bit pissed off with her because she's always a bit pissed off with her. And says we need to work out how to undo a false regeneration. Meanwhile, he takes into Vinda, to pick him up. And so yeah, so we got to work out how to fix the full screen generation. Keeps turning into the other doctors. And then there is a way, but it's very dangerous, and it probably won't work. You know it's going to work, but anyway, whatever. So they come up. They have this plan. We have quite a gruesome Cyberman conversion. So people are screaming, "Ah!" This is in Europe as they're being converted. Tegan runs back, says, "Well, what are you doing here?" "I came to help you. I'm an 80-year-old woman who's about 4'7". I have no military experience whatsoever. I'm here to help you, Cobber. Okay, I guess you are. So she says, "Well, I'm gonna. You got to get to the basement to activate the destruct sequence to keep them in the building. That's our plan. We're going to blow up the building to keep the Cybermen inside the building. Right? That's the plan." And we're going to have to kill ourselves. So I'm going to tell them to come to me while you try and escape downstairs into the basement. We're on the top floor. And it's like, yeah, it's a bit more gratuitous cyber converting. Meanwhile, Ace reaches the roof and she's like, okay, I guess I'm going to parachute off. Couldn't you have a jetpack or something? But okay, this is a good sequence though. Okay, Sophie really, really pulls it out in this episode, right? I'm surprised that she's still as strong as she... I'm surprised she was as strong as she is in this. She's better in this than she is in the big finish releases where she's playing younger, right? So she jumps off and she's going down, but Ashdaz sees her and starts firing. She shoots through the parachute and she starts falling. Good sequence there. This is ripped off from the BBC 8th Doctor adventure called Alien Bodies, right? Okay, it's incredible. I know, because this was the era he was reading this stuff. He was reading it the same time I was reading it, right? So he's ripped it. This is almost exactly from the novel Alien Bodies, right? This was Paul McGann falling through he was falling through the air, then he arranged for the TARDIS to appear, and he lands in it's exactly as it's described, right? This was completely ripped off. It's like, oh, Ace, I'm in the TARDIS. I said, oh, glad you're here. We have a job for you. But Vinda, you got to do a more important job. So because if you've forgotten, they want to unregenerate the Doctor, right? So they go back and they get Sash-Dhawan's master. And I can't remember how, but they talk him into going back to St. Petersburg, 1916. Meanwhile, Vinda is hiding in the background. Tegan is finding a way to get down to the basement. And she meets the Doctor hologram. Fucking awesome scene. If I wasn't going to get copyright claimed, I will play this for you. So they talk about the recriminations, like, you just dumped me. You just left me alone. You never checked me. You didn't care about me. And then Peter Davison, wonderful performance, right? So, you know, I love all of you, right? And you're all part of me, right? But we've all got to move forward, and I would just hold you back, right? But it's a really genuinely loving scene, and she forgives him, and then she pulls a bit of plywood off the wall and finds a lift shaft. And it's like, okay, glad we got the plywood off the wall and found the lift shaft. How she did that doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing makes any bloody sense. Meanwhile, the Daleks have a giant drilly thing, right, in the volcano. And Ace is there to stop them, and she meets... Oh, the Nitro 9, she's got Nitro 9 cans that she's souped up. It's now Nitro 99. The Nitro 9 cans, perfect recreations from Remembrance of Daleks, right? So she meets a hologram, and it turns into Sylvester McCoy. Another great scene. I mean, like, I did not have a dry during this. It was lovely. This was absolutely lovely, right? And again, it is not Chris Chibnall's writing. It's the strength of both these people's performances. And she's like, Ace, you know, I wasn't trying to control you. I was just trying to give you options and give you choices in life. You always made the choices, right? And she basically forgives him for being super manipulative. So then she goes in to attack the Daleks, but it's Graham, and Graham somehow has the psychic paper and says, I'm a volcano inspector. He said, oh, look, you're a friend of the Doctor's. You're here to help. Carl, do you want to see how I dealt with the Daleks in 1963? Said, that's 63? How old are you? He said, well, you should never ask a lady her age. And she pulls out the basement and says, I'm Ace. He's like, I bet you are, darling. Again, I like that. Why do I like it? There's no Jodie Whittaker. When the Jodie Whittaker's not in this, it's not singing, but it's not awful. Jodie Whittaker is the mill round this production's neck. It is the centrally awful decision they could never ever come back from. What have I done there? Hello, Daisy. What are you doing in here? It's essentially awful decision they could never ever come back from. It really, really is. So the Sidemen show up, and there's a laser wall, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna give you myself to convert me, and you and she's doing that to buy time for Tegan, right? So she lets herself be taken to conversion, and Tegan climbs down the lift shaft. So this would be ripping off what's the one? New Earth, right? When they're climbing up and down the lift shafts in that one. Ashton notices it, and she starts shooting at Tegan. Tegan runs anyway. So they're back, and there for some reason. And he tells the Daleks to activate the volcanoes, and they're like, "Yeah, we activate volcanoes!" And they start the thing, and all the volcanoes in the world start to erupt. And it's the end of everything. I'm the master. I'm bonkers, like the outfitter. Then in walks the fugitive doctor, right? It's not the fugitive doctor, right? That's what you know. That plot point is completely forgotten. Chris Chibnall has forgotten his own era, right? So we get a real Chris Chibnall trope, which is, I'm the doctor. Like, I don't recognize you. How do you not recognize her? You're the one who found out about the timeless fucking child, you moron. You should know about this. But no, I don't recognize her. How do you get past my defenses? The Sidemen all shoot her, but then because she's a hologram, the beams pass through her, and they shoot each other. That has happened in about 4 or 5 Chibnall episodes so far. And it says Jazz programmed this hologram somehow. How can she do that? It doesn't matter. Nothing fucking matters, right? So you wouldn't recognize him. Why can you program him as Tom Baker? I think that would be much more fun. Anyway, or Shooty Gatwa. Okay, so then Vinder turns up and forces him into the regeneration chamber, while the Sidemen start regenerating, and they use the regeneration energy to unregenerate Jodie. And they say, "Oh, you got to run now, do it!" And she turns back to Jodie again. Should have been a Doctor Who magazine fucking cover. It's crazy that it wasn't. They should not have been so embarrassed by this episode, right? This would have generated excitement, right? They should not have been so embarrassed by this episode. It's really kind of tragic that they were. So now she's back, unfortunately. What can you do? Won't be for long. And the hologram goes away. Don't need her anymore. Now we do lots of running around. Kate's about to be converted into a Cyberman. While Tegan turns up, and she's made it to the place, and the doctor hologram tells her what to do. As she does it, though, a cyber arm comes through the wall. Why? Why does it just come like through the why does the Cyberman walk through the wall and kill her? Right? But no, she fights to get to the last wire, as Kate is being way too graphically cyber converted, right? Way too graphically cyber converted. But she makes it, and all the Cybermen go and die. And it's like, fine, so now we just got to work out how to deal with the volcanoes. And so with the Graham and Ace attack the Daleks under the volcanoes, plants the Nitro 9. And again, you could just see the canister there. It's such a good recreation. I really, really liked it. And they do a runner. The doctor shows up. Not sure how. Doesn't matter. In they run. Oh, hello, Doc. How you doing? Missed you for last year. Off they go, and the volcano blows up, and then all the Daleks inside also blow up. At the same time, they work out how to blow up the unit building. They're killing everybody, I guess, right? And outrun Tegan and Kate, who survive somehow. And then the TARDIS shows up there. Oh, look, we just blew up a building. And Tegan's like, this time I'm going in the TARDIS. She was mad she wasn't invited in before. Sacha Dhawan, this must be back in 1916. Is back in his old body. Bat being Rasputin. Oh yeah, fine. So they go to the big glowy blobby fish thingy. What's it? Not fish. What's it called again? Jellyfish thing. There we are. Yeah, the big jellyfish thingy. And they say if you just connect your, she gets everybody to sit around the TARDIS and use the controls. This is a ripoff of is it Jonah's End? Yeah, Jonah's End. Right. And Vinda goes back to, she goes to Vinda's ship and fix it all. So basically, so she can wear the stupid glasses again. And she's very self-congratulatory about how she fixes the TARDIS, fixes his ship. Said, "Oh, I'm such a genius, me." So say you got to just take off. He's got to wait for them to dissolve the planet to take off for some reason. Drama, right? I don't know. So she uses the Master's TARDIS and her TARDIS and lots of running around and techno babble. It doesn't make any sense, and it transports the moon to 2022 from 1916, and then he zaps the volcanoes with a blue beam that turns all the volcano lava into metal sculptures. Goes, and then she tries to tell the jellyfish thing, turn your superpowered energy on the planet and you'll be able to get out, right? So she does. It starts doing that. But out comes the Master. Said, "You'll never stop me, Doctor. You've lost. You gambled and you lost. Think again." And he uses his little device thing, and it makes the giant monster jellyfish thing zap the Doctor. Whoa! No, she survived, but now she's gonna die. Sasha one's left there. Yaz rushes out, and again, this is from the thumbnail. This is LGBTQ plus love. This is love between people who don't understand what love is. They don't understand what parental love is. They don't understand what romantic love is, right? They just think it's all being scooped up and looked after, right? You see this, you see this trope over and bloody over again. Yeah, 1 second. I want to pull up the image of the thumbnail again. Doink. Just for a second. Where is it? Window. Right. Again, this is no normal expression of love. This is like, I want to be infantilized and babied, right? That's a sort of love, and that's not love, right? That's comfort, right? I want to be comforted. Anyway, so they rescues the Doctor, brings him in, and you see him look up at everybody. It's kind of like a traditional doctor scene, and she has oh, it's my fam, an extended fam, passes out. Right, then the moon thing blows up. Why not? And Doctor wakes up, and some time has gone by. Where's everybody gone? Said, "Oh, I took everybody home. I'm Yaz. I'm stunning and I'm brave. I'm brave and stunning and brave." And she noticed she's regenerating. Oh no! Now I got to reenact David Tennant's leaving. And say, "I don't want to go. I could do so much more. I don't want to go." We all want you to go, darling. Nobody wants you to stay. Nobody wants you to stay. Goodbye. I said, "Oh, it's so sad. Oh, but we never got the scissor in the TARDIS." Oh, time for one last trip. What flavor ice cream? And they go and get ice cream, and they sit on top of the TARDIS. This is ripping off Capaldi, of course. What's the name of the episode? It wasn't a great episode, but they sit on the TARDIS eating ice cream, and she gives a closing monologue. "Oh, I've loved being me. Oh, and I love being with you as well. It's been the bestest ever. You're the bestest ever. I'm the bestest ever. Ecky thump. Oh, just the bestest ever." I said, "Oh, but I've got to do the next bit alone." So he leaves her off, and off they go. Leaves Yaz alone. "Oh, who will lecture the children? Oh, we'll never scissor in the TARDIS." But then Graham and Dan shows up. Said, "Okay, I'll do another bloody scene." And they said, "What are you doing here? Didn't you get your invite?" And Graham set up a encounter group for friends of the Doctor, so they could talk about it. And we get a few more members. A bit of Joe Grant, a bit of Bonnie Langford, Ian. And they reminisce about the Doctor as the Doctor takes her final flight Is it all just one last trip? Wants to go to wants to see one last sunset, right? So nips out the doors, and they're in Broadchurch, right? This is Broadchurch, where they filmed Broadchurch, where Nick Briggs and Chris Chibnall live. Said, was it ready for the next one? And she starts to regenerate. So I don't think this is a regeneration. Starts to regenerate, and then, and this is where it was going to end, right? This is 100% where it was going to end, right? Right, that was going to be the closing scene. I'm sure of it. Then I don't think this is even Jodie Whittaker. I'll be surprised if it is. And the clothes regenerate. Now, there is one time when clothes have regenerated before. That's Hartnell into Troughton, but I don't know if you can really call it that, mate. You can say there's some dramatic license there. You had a cloak over him, and maybe there was a scene where he changed clothes. Again, the first regeneration back in the in '66. There's some dramatic license for the clothes changing. There's no dramatic license when in this episode we've seen Jodie Whittaker regenerate and the clothes not change, right? So I think this is the toy maker using some piggybacking on a regeneration to do some dastardly plan to make David Tennant. But I think that it's going to be written in such a way that you could say that this plan started with Capaldi's regeneration and created this false doctor, this false reality to enable this doctor to appear. He's like, oh, I recognize those teeth. And he's looked around and said, what? Dun, 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 and it's over, right? It's over, thank God. Interesting enough, we don't get what's his name? We don't have David Tennant's name as the doctor here, right? But so yeah, look, this was something that was clearly tacked on. You know, when he vanished to Cardiff for a few days, sort of film. So the clothes regenerating is an issue. I do not know what what the idea is, and we get to see a tiny bit of shooting. I can't play it because I'm going to get copyright claimed, right? Which will be a bit of a bummer. But so we're going to do that. But then the Jodie fans were not happy. The Jodie fans were not happy. Let's have a look at how they reacted. The rest of the world unite, you rejoice. Jodie fans not a little bit pissed off. And second, let's look at a few of these things. Fans are going to hate me. I do not care. David Tennant should have not returned because apparently the Doctor cannot regenerate into former incarnations. I'm full of mixed emotions, confused, angry, and silently screaming, what is going on? Oh, well, just relax and make it a TV show. Now, don't get me wrong. David Tennant was my favorite Doctor for a long time, but 13 regenerating him feels so misogynistic, especially when he was used by all the NFTs to belittle Jodie and her work. How? The only person who belittled Jodie and her work was Jodie and her work, right? It really taking away from her last moment of the Doctor. And it hurts me. Oh, it hurts me. Oh, I just want to be scooped up and loved. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. I said I would hate it if I see Jodie regenerating to David. I actually said the same thing. I didn't want to see that too. Literally just saying F progress and here's racist and sexist one. You're fucking insane, mate. Racist and sexist one. You're out. No. Reality one. Reality one because this was a fucking failure. Its overnight was 3.7. They're saying 4.1, but they're lying out their asses. The overnight was 3.7, right? Capaldi's regeneration, I believe his last episode was like 5.6, right? It's not, it failed. I hate this so much. I used to watch this show religiously in some high school because I had some people in class who liked the show, but getting David Tennant back, no. They're supposed to be new people, man. Why make it someone who's regenerated before? Because Jodie destroyed the fucking show, you moron, right? Jodie destroyed the show. Chibnall destroyed the show, right? I want Shooty as the 40s because he effing should be, but no, we need up this nostalgic factor. You wait till you see the logo, mate. It's the diamond logo. It's super nostalgic. And bring back David Tennant before actually making change. I hate Doctor Who, genuinely. We know. We could always tell. David Tennant is not my 14th Doctor. I don't think he's a 14th Doctor. I think Ncuti Gatwa is the 13th Doctor, right? I think that's just the case, mate. What's this? She might not be my favorite incarnation of Doctor. That's a toss-up being Joe Martin, who, again, is she the Doctor? We don't know. Like, that whole mystery is forgotten. We're never, ever going to see it again. But she's a phenomenal actor. She is given... No, she's not. She was given the Prepona to work with, and she's done after it. I have no idea what you're talking about. Go with it, and she seems like the most fantastic human being and lovely to fans. Well, she stays away from fans, mainly, mate. Stays away from fans. It's not really his fault, but David Tennant overshadowing Jodie and Ncuti is so effing annoying. I was against it. Now I'm kind of on board for it. I kind of like it at this point. Then now let's look at the ratings. Overnight ratings. Doda's final outing from 7:39 was watched by 3.59, 21.7%. For me, Jodie's era has been one of the best exciting storylines and great character. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed it. 3.59. Blimey. 3.59. It's lower than I thought. I thought 3.71. Man, that is not good. It's not good. What can I say? It's over, right? It's over. We got a whole new era of exciting adventures at this point. So let's have a quick look at the Sasha the One Master from Big Finish. Share screen. Doink. Where would I find it? I like they're doing a short film of Dorian Gray, by the way. I wish them all the luck with that. Audiobooks. Where do you think I'll find it? Call Me Master, I think. Call Me Master. Do we know who's writing for it? Oh, okay. If I don't know the writing talent, there's no way in a million years, right? There's no way in a million years that I would pick this up, right? But look, when's this coming out? Do they have a date for it? They don't even have a date. Anyway, look, I wish him the best of luck, right? I wish him the best of luck. I think he did a fine job with this, right? Again, a lot to recommend this episode, not the plot. The plot is why was Graham there? Why was Vinda there? I like lots of things. How did the Master survive? Oh, the Master apparently survives by eating the Siberium and became a super powerful battle computer added to. I don't know. It all seemed a bit stupid to me, right? All seemed a bit stupid. But listen, it's over. I don't think anybody's ever going to reference this turgid era ever again. Not if they got any bloody sense, which makes me a bit worried because nobody has any bloody sense in Hollywood. Fine. I got to wrap up. I got to go to this wedding. The era is over. Tomorrow on my live stream, I'll start going over the reviews, and that's what we're going to be doing, I think, most of the rest of the week. And I guess we're just going to wait and see what Rusty Davis has to excite us, right? New Doctor Who magazine coming out in when? About 2 weeks. That's, I guess, when the new logo comes out, and we'll never see the old logo again. The Jodie logo is over, beyond over. As I am, thank you for joining me. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please subscribe. YouTube scumbags that they were. My subs were going up and up. They took about 15, 20 subscribers off me this morning because I know I must have looked too happy. Anyway, hit the Emperor.